When I hold up books in this video, can we all just ignore the fact that last night when I was setting up my Christmas tree, I took like a huge chunk out of my knuckle? Hey guys, and welcome back to another day of Vlogmas. Today I'm very excited to bring to you my Black Friday book haul. Now, I was looking through the videos on my channel and realized that I actually have not put up a single book haul this year, so this will be like the haul of 2018, the one and only. That of course does not mean I haven't been buying books, though I have been very restrained this year in my book buying. Most of what I've brought into my house has either been an ebook, an audiobook, or review copies. Now, if you are interested in seeing what bookish mail I get from publishers and things, you can always follow me on Instagram because I tend to share those like real time on my Instagram stories. So check the description box below for a link to my Instagram account. I think the other reason I haven't put up any hauls this year is that I, generally speaking, feel like they're not the most informative video in the world, obviously because I haven't read the books yet, so I don't really have opinions on them to share with you guys. I'm literally just holding it up and being like, this is a book that I have. That being said, because one, it's Vlogmas and the point is to put up a bunch of content, not like the best content, I figured this is a good video, but also I get a lot of comments from people saying that they like that I talk about really random books that nobody else seems to be interested in. So I thought this haul is like a really great example of that. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the books that I picked up at my library's used bookstore prior to Black Friday. And I'm just gonna mention this one briefly because it's shown up in quite a few Vlogmas videos, and that is Ghost Wars: The Secret History of the CIA, Afghanistan, and Bin Laden from the Soviet Invasion to September 10th, 2001 by Steve Cole. Was that quick enough? The other book I got when I was there is A Man Called Ove by Frederick Backman. Now, I have heard so many good things about this. I actually heard a really great, I think it was a Good Read episode from the BBC Books and Authors podcast. So it's just something that I've heard great things about. I saw it for like $1 and thought, you know what? I'm intrigued to read that. It sounds like it actually might be a very heartwarming read, which I feel like I don't read a ton of. So hopefully I will enjoy this one. Next, for a book that I bought technically after Black Friday, but with a continuing Black Friday deal, is Baron and Luthien by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now, you guys know I have been trying to read this one for quite a while now, and I had it checked out from the library. Obviously did not finish it, had to return it, and thought, you know what? I've got coupons, I'm just gonna go buy it for myself, so now I have a copy. I did not buy a copy of The Fall of Gondolin, which is the newest release from the Tolkien estate, because it's still in hardback. It's brand spanking new. So I'm gonna wait till next year and then I will pick up a paperback copy of that for myself, because then it'll match this one and it'll match The Children of Hurin on my shelves, and it'll be kind of a nice set. Alright, so now we have reached the book outlet section of the haul, and I just want to plug Book Outlet for a second. This is not sponsored by any means. I don't have affiliate links or anything for you guys, but I would just say if you are someone who has never used Book Outlet because you always looked at their homepage and thought, there's probably not anything for me here, it seems like a really random selection, I would highly recommend just kind of digging through their stock whenever you have a little bit of spare time. Honestly, I spent like an hour going through the site on Black Friday, kind of picking up titles that sounded interesting, and yes, they are slightly random because they're overstock books, they're damaged books, you know, they're things that maybe other people couldn't sell, but there are some real gems there. So I would highly encourage you, if you have like half an hour, maybe you're watching a television show, just like scroll through and I swear you will find something that piques your interest. Something I discovered for the first time this order is that they actually have a pretty good nonfiction section. So what I'm gonna do is go through the nonfiction books first, and then we're gonna hit the fiction. So the first nonfiction book I picked up is The Second Amendment, a biography by Michael Waldman. Now, it's no secret that the Second Amendment here in the United States is very controversial. You know, people get up in arms. That was a really awful pun. People are very passionate about the Second Amendment, whether they are for or against it, and I personally realized that I don't really know a whole lot about it. So I thought this sounded like an interesting book to pick up. It kind of gives a history of the Second Amendment, and I believe kind of talks about how it fits into like our more modern country. So I think this should be a really interesting read, and I think this is also a great example of a book I got for like $1 or something, because yes, there is a little bit of, I don't know, it's not gonna come up, there's a little bit of like weird texturizing and bending here on the cover, but I'm not somebody who needs to have like perfectly precious pristine books anyways. Next, I got a book that I have been interested in for a while, and that is The Man Without a Face, The Unlikely Rise of Vladimir Putin by Masha Gessen. This one I first heard about on The Daily Show because Trevor Noah did a great interview with the author, and that interview just kind of made me realize that I don't know anything about Putin, and yet I feel like he's all over the news here in the States. Also, this book has gotten a lot of praise for just being a really great deep dive into the man and the legend that is Putin, so should be an interesting one to read. Speaking of random reads, I picked up West Like Lightning, The Brief Legendary Ride of the Pony Express by Jim DeFelice. Now, this one, again, it seems very random, but a couple of months ago I was in the middle of a serious Western kick, and I feel like this just really appealed to that weird craving I've been having this year. So I think this one should be very interesting, and I like that they have like a little, you know, graphics insert. I think, like, where's Buffalo Bill? Okay, look at that. Look at that mustache. Like, what is that facial hair? Then the last nonfiction book I picked up is Company Confessions, Secrets, Memoirs, and the CIA by Christopher Moran, with a foreword by Tony Mendez. Now, that was kind of what sold me on this. Tony Mendez was one of the CIA officers involved in the Iran hostage crisis. He wrote a whole book about that experience, which I listened to on audio back in 2016, I believe, and really enjoyed. Thought it was very interesting. So just the fact that he was like willing to put his name on this makes me very intrigued, and I do think this is something I'm interested in. The idea that I really like listening to audiobooks of or reading memoirs of people who used to be in espionage and intelligence, but at what point are they providing an entertaining story, and at what point are they risking tradecraft secrets? I don't know. I just think it should be very interesting. Okay, moving on to the fiction. I want to start off with this one because this is probably the book that came in the worst condition, and that is Human Acts by Hong Kong, I believe. Hong Kong, of course, is the author of The Vegetarian, and actually looking at it, I think this will be like the same size and it's the same buttery texture as my copy of The Vegetarian, so that's like an unintentional nice thing to have kind of related editions. Now this obviously, as you can see, has quite a bit of like smudging on the dust jacket. It's very crimped too, but it was like $2. It's one of their damaged copies, so not a bad deal if I do say so myself. I've heard pretty much nothing but good things about Human Acts. I've actually heard more great things about Human Acts, I think, than even The Vegetarian, which I loved. So very excited to get into this one, and again, don't mind the state of the cover really at all. I also picked up The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivey, which I feel like I've been seeing everywhere lately, maybe just because it's a snowy book and so therefore people want to read it during the winter. This is literary fiction that I believe has some fairy tale elements. I think it's about a couple, that lives in Alaska in 1920, and basically they've been trying to have a child, haven't been able to, and then one day they think they see a little girl running through the woods outside their home. Jen Campbell, I believe, really enjoyed this, so that always is a great endorsement. I was also super pumped to find a copy of A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. This is in such good condition, and I got it for like half price, a third of the price, something like that. Now, if you're a longtime viewer, you might be rolling your eyes because you guys know that I have owned Ruth Ozeki's 2 other books for a couple of years now, and I still have not read them, but in my defense, this is the one I was always most interested in, so I do think I will try and start with this and then go into the rest of hers. We'll see. I don't know. I just couldn't pass up getting a copy that was, 1, in great condition, but 2, so very cheap. And then the last book I picked up from BookOutlet is Girls Burn Brighter, a novel by Shobha Rao. Hopefully I said that right. This was a book that first hit my radar in January of last year when I was looking at new releases for 2018. This is about, I don't know if they're sisters or if they're best friends. I think they're best friends who live in a small Indian village and are just very close. You know, they don't have like the best life, they're rather poor, but they have each other, and that's kind of all that matters. And then circumstances change and one of them ends up leaving the other behind. Basically, I'm really hoping that this turns out to be a fantastic read. I haven't heard any negative reviews yet, so I feel like that bodes well for this one. Alright, so that was my Black Friday book haul, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, though it was, like I said, a bit random. I would like to say that those are the last books that are going to be coming into my home in 2018, but realistically, I asked for a few for Christmas, so we shall have to see. how that pans out. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye!